Hello. Good morning. It's I don't know. It's 4:54 a.m. on July 22nd, 26. Ah, you know, I don't compete. I don't. I don't compete with anybody. I don't have to. There's no one my equal. No one on this planet is my equal. I don't compare myself to anybody else. I use comparisons, but I don't compare myself to anyone else. I compare Gandhi and Mandela and Trump and Musk and Gates, all those kinds of people I mentioned before. But they're not in my world. They're not on my level. Gandhi and Mandela, Mandela affected South Africa and changed the government of South Africa, did away with apartheid. In Gandhi did India and chased out the English from India. And I'm not taking anything away from what they did or who they are or their successes. Uh, and they were great people. They did great things and didn't have any money. Were the underdog all the way up till the end. Uh, you know, 20 years in prison. They never thought Mandela was going to be the president of South Africa. That was never a thought. Nobody said one day he's going to be president. No, nobody thought that. And but I'm different in the sense that I'm not a country. I'm not the United States. I'm here for the world. You know, I don't have borders. I'm going to change the government and the, the government system of the world. The whole world is going to operate different because of me. And it's going to be different because of me. South Africa is different because of Mandela, but Zimbabwe is not. And stuff like that. Where the United States will be different, and Russia will be different, and China will be different because of me. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be better at first. Change is messy. When you want to clean your bedroom, you pretty much have to make a mess. You have to make a mess to clean it. You have to get all the junk out. Collect all the garbage and put it in bags and boxes and stuff and get rid of it. And and then you're not done. You have to reorganize the room. You know, put things where they're best to be. Uh, so when we go through this world change, with the God code is going to be a focal point of the world change, and that'll continue long after I'm gone, uh, long after you're gone. Um, God code will never not be a thing. If there are people on the planet 300 years from now, they'll be using the God code, things like that. Uh, but it's going to be messy at first, because first off, you got to do away with the binary code, all the devices, all the ways in which binary code is implemented in this world. Like you don't really see any black and white TVs anymore, do you? I don't unless you go to a museum, you're not going to find a black and white TV, uh, or you'll have a videotape of a black and white TV on a color TV. You know. So the world is going into color TV now, and the black and white TV is gone, dead. Uh, but it's dying. It's more or less dying than gone. It's dying. So it's going to be messy, And the world is just waking up, uh, and it really hasn't waken up just yet to the fact of color TV. It's like it's just on the drawing board. It's the blueprint. It's not an actual TV yet. Uh, you know, uh, it's just that is what I bring to the world. and much more. But that was that. That'll definitely be my walking on water event, um, changing the world to God code. And God or devil. I'm sure you see my posts on YouTube. You can find it. It's there. God or devil. Look for it. Uh, God is everywhere. Jesus is everywhere. The devil is everywhere. Um, you know, and they are. Um, and I am. I'm everywhere. You can't get away from me. I'm everywhere. I'm in the hearts and minds of all the people on the planet. Um, are there people that are not in their hearts and minds yet? Of course. But eventually, it will be all of them, even the ones in Antarctica. You know? But that's not my goal, though. That's not what I'm out to do. I'm out to change the world and save humanity from itself, which right now is not looking. Well, it is looking good because of me. But before me, it was pretty dismal. When we had the Cuban Missile. Yeah, the devil shut me up. The Cuban Missile Crisis, uh, all the wars, and wars are going to be no more. And the economy that we live off of, which is building missiles and building warplanes and tanks that we don't need, and aircraft carriers that we don't need, and destroyers we don't need, and submarines we don't need. That's all going to stop. That whole economy is a dead economy. Uh, kind of like how alcohol was the running and main economy uh, in the party scene, and now it's dying. Uh, Alcohol is no longer king. It's pot is king, and drugs are king over alcohol because alcohol causes so much problems, and people don't want to go to jail for driving drunk, and so they haven't stopped partying. They just stopped what they party with, and it's not that you're going to stop fighting. You're just going to change the way you fight. And that's going to be the result of the God code. You won't need an aircraft carrier. You won't need a missile. Um, but I wish I could say there aren't going to be wars in that way, or not in that way, meaning in any way. There's going to be wars. People don't get along, and McCoys and the Hatfields are always going to exist. Uh, People are immature. People are narcissists. People are in need of power over people, and there's not much I can do to get rid of that. Uh, but is but to educate you on how to look at that. Look, I know um, the big T word. If you're watching this, this is 26. Um, you're watching this in 10 years, whatever. Um, our president right now is a horrible man and he's doing horrible things. And it's okay. Because what goes around comes around and the tables will turn. And all the horrible things that he did, his party, his followers are all um, they're gonna suffer for what they did. And I know Whoopi on the View said, I think it was yesterday, that people are awake. People say they want people to wake up, and she says, "Oh, they're awake. They're going to school. They're paying their bills. They're awake. They're not awake." And you can prove they're not awake just by the fact that he was elected by the majority of the vote he got. He won the electoral. Now, I don't believe that those were all real numbers. I believe Musk and his people manipulated the election and had him win. Because Musk invested hundreds of millions of dollars into his campaign, and that was not going to be wasted money. Trump does, and Musk does not waste money. He's the cheapest bastard on the planet. So he didn't waste any money. He made sure Trump won, and he made sure he got out of Trump what he wanted, and still is to this day. So I don't believe the numbers, but the numbers, uh, if you want to believe the numbers were he won the popular vote, he won the electoral college. So that shows me that a lot of people are not awake. They're not awake, you know, and they're following the matrix. They're in the matrix. They can't escape the matrix on their own. Uh, they don't even know they're in a matrix. That's half the battle. You don't escape a prison you don't even know you're in. Until you find out it's a prison, then you want to escape. Well, they don't know they're in a prison, and they don't know they're in the matrix. They don't know that they need to escape it. It's comfortable. And that's how they get you. They give you a nice house, they give you a nice bed, they give you a nice supermarket down the road where you can get all your food, and they give you a nice car to go to that supermarket. Uh, they give you a golf course to go play golf, and they make you comfortable. And then now, when they do crappy things, which they do all the time, you're not going to say, well, if you do that, I'm going to do this. Because they're going to say, well, if you do this, we're going to take away your golf course. We're going to take away your house. We're going to take away your wife and kids. So they got you. They got you. And they're going to turn up the heat. And if you do anything, if you protest in the street, if you don't vote the way they want you to vote, if you say negative things about the establishment, negative things about the government, uh, the press, they don't say anything negative because they want to get the next story. And if they start saying negative things about the government or the administration or anything, the police, when the police have a story or the government has a story, they don't call them. They're not going to call them if they're writing all negative stuff about them. They're going to try to exclude them. And so they got to play the game. And that's all Matrix. That's all being in the Matrix, playing the game, pitting one against the other, and using manipulation and tactics of manipulation against society at large. We've been led to believe since 1980s that Iranians were evil people. It was an evil country. They weren't evil, and they're not evil. They just don't care what we have to say. They're not. They're in the Matrix too, but they're in a different Matrix. They're in an Iranian Matrix. The Iranian government controls the Iranian people like a matrix. It is a matrix. But the two matrix clash. The United States matrix and the Iranian matrix clash. And the Iranians, you know, they try to say America's evil and all that stuff to the Iranian people. But the Iranian people love America. They love all our technology. They love our clothes. They love our things. Our things. But they don't love our freedom. Uh, and they don't love our religion and practice of religion. They're very restricted in that. Uh, we don't have women working around with burqas on and stuff like they do. And, you know, and we're taught here that Iranians are evil because they do walk around in burqas, because they do not have freedom of speech or freedom of religion and stuff. And that's their culture. That's who they are. It's like yelling at a Chinese guy for eating a wonton. It's like, how are you going to do that? Or a Mexican for eating a taco. It's like, how are you going to do that? That's who they are. That's where they come from. And that's what they do. Uh, so you can't hate them for that. You should love them for their difference because they're not eating corned beef and cabbage. You know, so it's just celebrate your differences. And God code is gonna make so many things different, and so many people are going to have power that never had it before, uh, in ways they never had it before. Um, but I'm hoping more within their own life and not within society as disruptors. Sort of like what I'm doing. Uh, they're not, I don't want them to be disruptors. I want them to be happy with their own life and further their own education and further their own souls and further their own experience as a human being on this planet and bring that to the next life when they die and they get reborn again, and create a better world throughout the generations. Uh, so it's like breaking the curse. There's a curse on this world, and I'm here to break it. I'm a curse breaker, and I broke the curse that Bill Gates was a good man. He's evil, and he's the devil, and I exposed him for that. So just don't worry about it.